Welcome back. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. He's dancing, I'm dancing. We're all dancing. Why? Because it's a brand new year, chance to reorganize our lives, our focus. You likely spend a significant amount of time each day connected to a desktop, a laptop, a smartphone, a tablet, some kind of device. So it stands to reason that it is probably the best place to start when we want to organize or reorganize our lives, increase our productivity, or make some admin and tasks a little bit easier. Grant Hines now joins us in studio to show us the way, my friend. Show us the way. And please excuse that. We are still.
What are you doing?
We're still loving the Christmas spirit here. So please savor it.
Oh, yeah, no, 100%.
Savor
it. The tree is only going down like mid-Jan, you know.
I would keep it till February if I could.
Thank you. I'm glad that you did. But you're here for a more important thing besides judging our Christmas decorations that's still on. You're here to make our lives easier for 2021 because it's all about convenience this year.
Yeah, productivity and productivity apps are like some of my favorite apps to talk about. And in fact, here's a pro tip before we even get started with this, is don't waste your time being unproductive trying out tons of productivity apps. I have been there.
Okay.
I think I feel it makes you feel like you've done an entire day's worth of work trying to gather your calendar, find the best ones. I did well, but at the end of the day, sometimes those apps can just be distracting. So I'm going to tell you.
You've done the hard yards for us. Thank you.
I've done, yeah. You know what I mean? That's right. But all these apps are cool, but you find the ones that work for you, and don't listen to what everybody else says. Just find it doesn't even have to be the fanciest app or the most expensive app. It just needs to be the app that works for you. Correct. You know, some people write in a notebook, and they're fine with that, and some people like to use like complicated Internet of Things household things. A lot of us who are freelancers or work in big companies with lots of different contacts struggle to keep track of who's who. It's a Chrome plugin, and what it does is it connects that particular contact in your Gmail address to all of their social media and everything that they have online. So it'll collate everything about them into one space. So you might be an HR or in recruitment and you want to see their LinkedIn profile. Guess what? Rapportive has pulled that data for you, and you can click through and check that LinkedIn profile immediately off the bat, which is great. So you might go, oh snap, I forgot this person, or I forgot who this Mark is. There's always like a ton of Marks for some reason in my inbox, and I go like, who? Somebody calls, hey, it's Mark, and I go, yeah, okay, cool, let's continue. Yeah, so that's a great way to keep track of all those people. The second app I want to talk about is called Pocket. Pocket is an app that I've been actually using for quite some time, and it works on every platform, so if you're on desktop or whatever, but there's a lot of news. And I know, especially on the show, there are a lot of news teams that are pulling together what's happening. All this news doesn't just come from anywhere, like nowhere. Somebody has to do the hardcore research, and a lot of us love to read the news. And obviously, traditionally, you have newspapers, but Pocket allows you to, on any device, save websites and save news articles for you to read later offline.
Okay.
So some of us might be don't have data at home, or while we're traveling, you want to save as much data as you can. So at work, you can quickly download as many stories as you want. Or before you hit transit, if you're grabbing a taxi or something,
flying?
you can. Or you're flying, yes, yeah, you fly a lot. So then you can, that's a big time when you're offline, because it's like 2 hours if you're flying to Joburg offline. You can read those stories and catch up on the news. Just make sure your phone is charged.
So it's like a screenshot in an app form, because it's obviously like you getting.
Well, think of it. It's kind of they save the whole story for you.
Okay,
so you
don't have to go back.
Yeah,
it will literally just be there for you.
It'll just be there, and you can read and scroll. So sometimes it might be a long article, a screenshot. You can only take your screen, right? So
cool.
There's
Love that.
The third one is called LastPass. You can either use something called LastPass or OnePassword, and I plead for people to use these. So a lot of time that we spend online, we have the same password. I know, like, people that go, oh, my password's password 1234. It's like, you will get hacked, and people will use that information. And even if you think that people won't use that information because you're like, nobody will want to have access to my stuff, there are companies actively trying to access your data constantly, and they thrive with that, and there are hackers that do it, and hackers can ruin your life. especially if they get into your Gmail, and your Gmail is linked to everything. If they get
Yeah.
one password, if you use that password on one
Chances
platform,
are you've got it automatically set up to access
so how a
just about
hacker,
every
yeah,
other account.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So how a hacker works is, especially banking apps now, you log in with your email address, you'll use a password. If you've used that same password and email on another website, they spam every known website with that, and it will happen in a matter of minutes, and they can unlock your bank account potentially because you use the same password on another website. It's imperative that you use different passwords on different websites, but it's hard to remember that. Right?
Yeah.
So LastPass and OnePassword
I
are
never
really
can,
smart
so I'm
apps.
constantly changing my passwords.
Yeah, don't worry
It's
about that.
like
So I don't even know what my passwords are because I use these password protection apps. They're called vaults. And you then log in with your fingerprint or or a very long code that you've saved somewhere offline and your email address, and it's saved onto your device. And then you copy paste the long generated password that's nearly impossible to crack into that website. And every single website that you have, you can generate unique codes for. So like hackers can't, or passwords, so hackers really have trouble getting into that. I highly recommend it. You can save notes there, so if you've got banking details, or if you need to write like what my mother's maiden name that I used on this website was, it's a great tool. And I'm telling you, it's imperative. It will save you so much time. I've had my accounts hacked, and it's time consuming. You can spend 3 or 4 days trying to fix a problem,
Wow.
and that's very unproductive.
Buddy, we've run out of time.
Oh.
Where can people go to get more of these sorts of things? What's a good resource?
I recommend going through to the Play Store on your app or the App Store or whatever it is, and try out a couple of these apps. And then, again, don't get bogged down by overcomplicating things. If you are familiar with a certain system and it works for you, stick with that system. And remember, the focus is on being productive.
At Grant Hines is where you can ask more questions. He's gone through all of these, so he can answer those questions. But thanks, dude. I'm feeling more productive already, actually.
Good. I'm going to do some push-ups.